Hey guys, welcome to Picture Book Drama, where it is everything in entertainment. As always, I am your host, Sean, your video and comic guru. Welcome to another collection video. This time we're going to focus in on, obviously, Batman. From his television to his rather weird movie history. We're going to go through all of that in the collection that I have right now. So let me know what you guys think. But when I come back, we're going to start off on, what else? Adam West. See you guys soon. Okay guys, welcome to my Batman collection. This is going to be an amazing collection. This is basically going to show you where it started for me. And that is this movie right here, Batman the movie. This came out in 1966. Produced by the producer of the Batman TV show, which sadly I don't have, but that will be part of like the end of my video of items I'm still looking for, so I am on the look for that. But this movie came out in 1966, directed by Leslie, and make sure I get the name right, Martinson. This brought all the characters from the 60s TV show to the big screen while the show was still going on. This is actually just prior to Batgirl coming in. So that's why she's not in the movie, for anybody who's wondering. Now, this had Adam West and Burt Ward reprising their role as Batman and Robin. You had Commissioner Gordon, you had Chief O'Hare, Alfred, all these guys are in there. But this movie was something different from the TV show. It was like a trend that they did throughout the series is of putting in a different Catwoman. Now, this movie had 4 villains, which shows if you put 4 talented actors in one movie, they can make a kick-ass movie. You had Frank Gorshin as the Riddler, Cesar Romero as the mustache-wearing Joker, Burgess Meredith as the Penguin, and then in this one you had Lee Merriweather coming in as Catwoman. So that was a big change. This is the only time you see Lee Merriweather playing Catwoman is in the movie. Otherwise, on the TV show, it was Eartha Kitt, and as a little trivia question, who's the other Catwoman? Who's the most famous one? Let me know, hit me in that comment below. But this was amazing. This set it off for me. I remember watching the reruns as a kid, coming home from school, Saturday mornings. It was everywhere. And it was cool because it was always in 2 parts. But don't want to make the video last too long right here. I want to move on to the other stuff. That's going to be the Tim Burton collections. But stay with me. I got a lot more stuff coming up. Okay guys, welcome to my next part of my Batman collection. This is going to be showing you my Tim Burton / Joel Schumacher Batman collections, basically Batman 1 through 4. Now, this first one right here, Tim Burton's 1989 Batman, was what really pissed off a lot of people when they first heard about it. So much so that in the Wall Street Journal they were talking about it. And that is them casting Michael Keaton to play Bruce Wayne / Batman. I gotta admit, I was one of them. Everybody was saying, hey, Mr. Mom, and you know, it's gonna be a comedy. But you gotta give them credit. They stuck to their guns. They actually kept fighting, saying, you know, I know that Michael Keaton's gonna be the best person for this role. To make people kind of like calm down a bit, they hired Jack Nicholson to come into the movie. So you had credibility, kind of like what happened with Superman the movie, where Christopher Reeve wasn't a big name, but you had, what's his name? Person who played Lex Luthor. Gene Hackman. There he is, Gene Hackman. He was the one who played Lex Luthor. It's kind of the same thing in that happened here. They wanted a big name in this movie to give it some credibility, and that's what they did with bringing Jack Nicholson in. Having him play Jack Napier / Joker was a work of genius at the time, because other people who were up for the role were like Robin Williams and people along that line, more facial or character actors, but Jack Nicholson brought that nice scary quality to the Joker that otherwise the film was lacking, because it was kind of up and down in its tone of like sometimes it was dark, sometimes it was funny. But you had Vicky Vale in there, played by Kim Basinger. You had Billy D. Williams playing Harvey Dent, which I was curious to see, because since Michael Keaton was a controversial role, you know, having Billy D. Williams in there, people are going to say, oh, where's the Colt 45? Where's, you know, where's Two-Face going to come from? I was really curious, because if there had been a third Tim Burton movie, you would have seen Billy D. Williams become Two-Face. But one of the things that we'll just never have now. But This movie in 1989 changed everything. Unfortunately, the last superhero film we had prior to that was Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. So the superhero genre was dead. So when this movie came out, it really sparked the interest back into it. I don't think if you didn't have this Batman film, you wouldn't have had Blade come out, you wouldn't have had Hellboy. Those movies had the door open by this Tim Burton movie. Now, about 4 or 5 years later, in 1992, Tim Burton came back to reprise the role as producer and director on this film. But he was also kind of like, didn't want the studio heads messing around with it. So he really made this film super dark, super Tim Burton. He had, once again, Michael Keaton coming in as Bruce Wayne / Batman. But he brought in 2 villains in this film now. You get Michelle Pfeiffer coming in to play Selina Kyle / Catwoman. And you had Danny DeVito coming in to play the creepiest penguin you will ever see in your damn life. This movie scared the crap out of me. But it was a good change, because other than that, Penguin was just a fat guy wearing a tuxedo. So you had to do something with him, and it was kind of interesting to see him bringing the Penguin into this movie. But I also like the fact that you had Christopher Walken in this film as well. Every movie's better with a little more Walken, just saying. But this was a lot darker than the first movie that came out in 1989. The Penguin was a really creepy guy, and the way they showed Catwoman's origin, which is different from the comic books, how she had to die to come back, that was a lot to take in. You're not used to seeing that in a superhero film. You want something that's more action-based, more people punching the crap out of each other. But this movie also started the trend of, actually I guess the first one did that, but that's all Alfred's fault. But in Batman Returns, it's the trend of the superhero having to unmask themselves in front of, one of their antagonists at the end. This damn movie started that, because he ripped his damn mask off, and we didn't need him to do that, but it happened. The movie kind of ended on a question mark. Catwoman, did she actually die at the end or not? If you saw the end of it, you know what the answer to that is. Unfortunately, 3 years later, because they really wanted to gun these films out because Batman Returns was such a huge hit, they wanted to keep going with it, and the studio was a little scared because people were saying, Batman Returns kind of scared kids. They wanted to lighten the tone of it. Tim Burton is not a person to lighten the tone of any film. So he was out, and they brought Joel Schumacher in. Now, if you've seen any of Joel Schumacher's films, he can do, a little, some darkness to his films, because he did Lost Boys, one of my favorite films. Unfortunately, he made this, I won't say this is garbage actually. This one was actually, okay, it wasn't bad. I actually do remember seeing this in the theater, and as a kid going, okay, I'm going to at least get to see Robin on the big screen, who is my all-time favorite character. We get to see Val Kilmer coming into it, playing a new Batman. But they started doing the trend of every movie Batman has to have a new love interest. And in this one, they got one of the dumbest love interests on the planet in Nicole Kidman playing Chase Meridian, a psychiatrist. What really made this film not feel like a Batman film to me, though, are the people they got to play the villains. Now, I heard we're getting Two-Face, and you're getting Tommy Lee Jones coming in playing Two-Face. That's gold to me. I mean, you got this Oscar caliber, actor in there, and he's gonna play one of the creepiest characters in Batman. I'm in. Then I heard Jim Carrey's going to be playing the Riddler. I was a little afraid, because Jim Carrey's such a physical actor and such a big presence. Is he going to take over the film? And that's exactly what happened. Every time he's in the scene, he's over the top, which is how Joe Schumacher wanted him. It's not Jim Carrey going too far, but it just took me out the film. And on top of it, they gave Robin one of the fucked up origins I've ever seen done. It was kind of comic book accurate, but it just was horrible. Chris O'Donnell as Robin, from the commercials, okay, cool, he looked good. They made the costume a little darker, had an armor kind of like Batman's. Okay, cool. But he was a little punk. I hated him. All he wanted to do was kill Two-Face. That's all he wanted to do. I don't know about you, but I ain't letting that kid in my home. I want to kill him. No, your ass going in jail. You're going in protective custody, whatever. You are not going to be in my home. where I'm Batman. And Alfred, once again being the dumbest butler in the world, doesn't have a door that closes faster. New butler time. Anyway, it wasn't bad. Val Kilmer I actually thought was a much better Bruce Wayne than Michael Keaton ever was. Because Michael Keaton, he can do a dark character, but they didn't have him go all the way over. So he never really sold it to me as Bruce Wayne. Val Kilmer did, because they spent time with him outside of the costume doing Batman things. Coolest part in the film was actually where Bruce Wayne and Alfred are actually trying to solve the Riddler's puzzle, because it showed that he doesn't need to walk around in a costume to be Batman. When he's not around everybody else, that's who he is. That's how I figure Batman is. He's always like that. Bruce Wayne's the mask. Anyway, I've talked about that movie enough, simply because I don't want to talk about this next one. This is where Joe Schumacher basically just put his foot up Batman's ass and pulled out this crap. Batman Forever was actually the last Batman film we would get for a long time. Can I keep going? Because I know the light went out behind. Now, this next film here is a movie I don't want to talk about, and that is Batman Forever. Oh my God, this movie, to call it Forever was just the worst title ever, because it would be forever before we find another Batman film on the big screen. Joe Schumacher pretty much shat out this garbage, and I mean, it was basically a giant toy commercial. That's all it was. All these costumes they had him wearing, they wore one that had black and silver trimming all over it. They introduced Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. Then, if that ain't bad enough, you got Uma Thurman playing Poison Ivy. I heard that, I'm like, okay, cool. We're gonna have a great actress playing Poison Ivy. It's gonna be sweet. Then they tell us that Arnold Schwarzenegger's gonna be playing Mr. Freeze, and that's when my heart sank. I knew this was done, because by this point Arnold Schwarzenegger was not making good films. He was kind of at the end of his acting career before he went into becoming, like, governor. So he was doing it for a paycheck. This movie starts off horrible. You just get Technicolor garbage. They're ice skating. Ice skating. Then Mr. Freeze is trying to steal a giant diamond so he can rob banks. You have a giant fucking diamond. What do you need banks for? Oh, he needs all these diamonds to fuel his suit. Take the damn diamonds out the suit, sell the diamonds, buy another suit, find another fuel source, do something. It was horrible. Then, of course, they bring Bane into this. He doesn't say anything but Bane, and runs around with green veins painted all over his body. It was just terrible. They went from Batman Returns, where they show you how you can incorporate multiple villains perfectly, to Batman Forever, where you can't incorporate even one character without it sounding like a damn joke. Now, I would be grievously hurting you guys if I didn't tell you that George Clooney was the one who played Batman, but I give him so much credit, because every time you mention it to him, he immediately apologized. He's like, yeah, it was part of the franchise that destroyed Batman. I'm sorry. He knows that movie was horrible. But as an actor, you gotta take the roles that come your way, and hey, that was a high profile role, so why wouldn't you do it? So I'm not mad at him. Now, next to that, because all four of the films I talked about earlier, these are all DVDs. Those are actually part of a box set I have called Batman Legacy. You see, they unfortunately put George Clooney on the cover, so they're trying to push. This must have been right when Batman Forever came out. But these all fit perfectly in here. It's actually a great way for me to be able to have all four of my movies in a nice little case and not have to worry about them falling all over the place. But after that, I do also have the Blu-ray collection. This is the Batman, the Motion Picture Anthology 1989 to 1997 collection in a gorgeous case. I love this because you get to see the bat symbol So it's perfect for displaying. When you actually pull it off, you got the movies individually in here. So I love that. I love the fact that you don't have to worry about jewel cases of, that are so flimsy that they fall apart. Here I have all the movies individually I can watch on Blu-ray, and I'm not going to destroy them in any way, shape, or form. So as you can see, I love my Batman. There's a lot of other ones out there that I don't own, but I will be getting for my collection. See, they give you all the info about it here. If you guys actually want, I might actually let you guys keep that code, see if you like it or not. Maybe I won't, but you see they give you a lot of stuff with this. But, it's basically your 4 movies individually in there. But that's it. That's my Tim Burton collection. What I'm going to be showing you next is going to be my Batman Begins collection. Show you all the items I have in that.